Good morning. Grandma Lois here. Pull you up a chair. I tell you what, this is one of those days where I just don't know what I'm going to talk about. I really don't. But I have finished my feet and I made a video and it was so pitiful that I just deleted it on purpose. You know those days happen sometimes because you think, what do I want to tell y'all about today? I don't know. So I'm thinking. And I decided to just, whatever happens, happens. And that's what I tell James quite often. This morning he kissed me bye because I am not going out in this heat. This is not a yard sale day for me. I can't take it. I'm 91, so I just can't. So I'm staying home. And I thought, well, I'll just do a real good video for my friends and my fans. I don't know about that. I'm trying. I was thinking about what should I talk about, and I guess what I want to say is this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice. And so I am rejoicing at being home and give him thanks for all he's done. So I thank you for it, Lord Jesus. And I decided not to put on one of those scenes this morning, but just let Amazon do its thing. And I don't know how long it's going to do it. You know, when you pause, when you get done with something, they just start putting scenes on. So I said, excuse me, I'm going to put on my other sock. I got my feet treated while I was doing that video that I deleted and said, heavens to Murgatroyd, can't you do no better than that? I talk to myself. You have to do that sometimes. So it's a quiet day today. The weather is atrocious and it's hot everywhere. And it's going to be going on for at least 6 or 7 more days. I mean, right now it is, let's see what it is. It tells me on my watch the temperature. And then I got a little thing right over here, 84 degrees. See this? This is one of those things. It says 84. It's backwards to you. And I keep that. And it's got a thing on it that you can get the temperature outside. Now that's a pretty scene. Amazon does those. Or you can put on your photos, your pictures. And I don't want to do that. Of course, you can see a lot of my pictures that way. Maybe I'll do that sometime. Of course, you don't know who they are. But most of them is me and, oh well. So here we are. And what is going on? Not much. I watch my other YouTube buddies, and I was watching Senior Insights with Cynthia, and she does 2 videos a day, and she talks off the top of her head, and then she picks subjects. Sometimes the other day, she was talking about whether you wear a pad or not, the age you are, and stuff like that. Us senior citizen women have to wear a pad because when we sneeze or anytime, we got to have a pad. When we cough, when we laugh. So we have to. And I got mine on. And she says, she talks about delicate subjects like that with for women, and it's a good thing. And the other day, she was talking about a bidet. Do you know what a bidet is? It's a thing that washes your bottom when you're on the potty. And she put one in for herself. She said, of course, the water is cold when you turn it on, but she don't mind that. So I went on Amazon because she was recommending one called a bidet um, 380 or something. So I looked it up, and they're not real expensive, but she put hers in herself. You have to hook, and I looked at it, and I know the French and overseas, they use the bidet. It's almost on all the toilets and hotels and everything like that, that you can wash your bottom whenever you're staying there. And I looked at it, but I think I would have to get James or one of his men to put it in. I don't think I could do it. But she said she did it herself somehow or other. Wow, I'm proud of her, but I don't think I can. It's just a thought. You can buy them on Amazon for maybe $60 or something like that. And you hook it up to your water lines that goes to your toilet. and then you can push a button and wash your rear. Might be a good thing. And then she talked about some other things. You just never know what that girl's going to talk about. Now, Debbie in Kentucky Life with Debbie talked about some really important things the other day. And I watched her, and I like her a lot. And when she said she was going to start a YouTube channel, I told her, go for it. She said, well, I think I have a lot to say. And she does. And she said some really important things, which I can tell you about secondhand because I watched her. She said, it's important. We have to have, seems like, a towel in the car when we travel, and maybe some spoons and forks in your glove compartment that you got at McDonald's. And I do have those. Yes, I do, Debbie. And a lot of us women do that. And at home, she pulled out this gallon storage bag, and it was full of knives and forks and stuff that you save because you might need them one of these days. Well, I don't have that many, but I do have some on my table here that I can grab up and take with me in case we need them. But I've got a towel. You have to keep, and I keep a cup. Well, I found out that when we were on the evangelistic field, traveling full time, Buddy and I, and you cannot stop just anywhere. Now, Buddy had a bladder like a gallon bucket. I have one that's as big as a walnut. Well, no, it's a little bigger than that, but it's not much. But I learned to carry a cup. And so if he could pull over, which we can usually find a place to pull over, and I didn't go back to the fifth wheel, that's a good long walk, and you'd have to stay too long. I just hop out the side of the truck and use my cup right down the front of my jeans. And nobody knows what's going on, but we have one time me and Phyllis and Stanley, that's my sister and her husband, and Buddy and I were making a trip down to the Smokies, and we was going down by, and there was a pull off where you could see over the side of the road. And there was a car parked, and there was a woman over there, and she had her pants down and she was doing business. Now, when we went to the West Indies, it was different. And we stayed for 3 weeks. We ministered over there. They invited us to come, so we went. And over there, the women would go off to the side and squat, and the men would turn their back and wherever alongside the road, use the bathroom to urinate, to pee. And you couldn't really see anything because they got their back to you. So that was, and nobody thought a thing of it. That's just the way they did it. Now, I never did it because where they put us and kept us, they provided bins. We was ministering. They put us in a nice house, and we had another couple traveling with us, and it had a couple of bedrooms, and they had their bedroom, and we had places to cook. And you know what they eat over there mainly? They order them in as drumsticks, chicken legs, and they would provide us with drumsticks, and we could fry them or we could just fix them in there which way we wanted them, and macaroni and cheese. One time we made a pan of macaroni and cheese about this big, like a big cake pan, cookie sheet. It's a bit, but sides. And so we made a big with cheese and macaroni and milk and everything you needed, and it turned out so good. And this is really what happened. There was four of us, and so the next day we had some left over. We didn't eat that whole pan that day, so I got it out, and I got it out the next day, and I said, let's just warm this up, pour a little milk on it, and warm this up a little, and have some more of it. So we did, and it was, and when we ate that, we still had some left over, and I said, well, shall I? The next day, I said, shall I warm this up and eat this? We ate that for 3 days. It was so much. Four of us. It was like the Lord just expanded it every time we needed it. And it was so good to eat because you didn't get a whole. I was so concerned about having milk when I went to the West Indies, but they provided milk in quart containers, and they had cow's milk, which but they imported all the cow's milk in too. But boy, they treated excuse me, it don't spoil very fast. So I had my milk even when I was in the West Indies for 3 weeks. And they have over there in the West Indies uh, a natural water fountain. Well, it just comes up out of the ground, and they put a pipe on it, and it just bubbles. And he said, taste that off that fountain. So I tasted it. It was seltzer water that you buy at the store. I said, this tastes like seltzer water. He said, it is. It's natural seltzer water. He said, and if you drink this, they say you will come back and visit again. Well, I drank it, but I haven't been back, and I don't think I will be. Nope, that's too far. We flew down there, and when you go to a foreign country like that, which it was, it's owned by England. The West Indies is owned by England. The Queen is very important, or the King, whoever is ruling, and now it's King Charles. But the Queen was getting ready to visit, and they were spiffing up everything. Well, this is back in the 80s, and she was coming. And boy, do they fix up that whole island. And she was going to visit the West Indies. And one thing about the West Indies, that all the people are black people, but they speak English just as good as me or you. So when we held revivals, they just enjoyed the country music. Well, gospel. Buddy was a country singer, and then he got saved and sang gospel. So, and we took our cassettes with us, a lot of them, and they don't have any restaurants or anything on St. Vincent where we was at. So if you didn't cook you something, you didn't have nothing to eat. So we cooked, me and Miss Brown, who traveled with us. But that church run like 2,000 people. But we sold our cassette tapes, and they had tape players. Now everybody had a radio, and most of them a tape player with a tape player in it, a radio with a tape cassette player. Those were so popular in the 80s. And then they went to 8 tracks, but we didn't have any 8 tracks. This was cassette time before CDs. Things have changed so much in the last few years, and I like most of it. Certainly like running water and good refrigeration. That's two of my favorite things because I've had it otherwise. When we had to carry water from the spring and from the cave when we lived out on the farm, our drinking water, all of our drinking water had to be carried, and you could carry 2 buckets. And Mom would tell Norman, do not let grass seeds get in our water buckets when you carry that water because weeds would be growing almost as high as our waist that we had to walk through. We had a little path down to the cave. We had, see, I'm off the subject. But out on the farm, we had a cave about a half a block or a block down over the hill from our house, which we had went in, Daddy went in, and he could hear running water in the bottom of that cave. And we had been carrying drinking water from our grandma and grandpa's place, which was about a half a mile. I mean, they had a big spring that just came right out of the ground and down right on the river, and the Blue River flew right behind our farm. We didn't go to the Blue River though because the mountain, it was too steep to get down close to the river, but you could at Grandma's house, and the spring ran right into the river, and that's where we carried water from till Daddy discovered in this cave where we was living about a half a block away he could hear water running back in the cave a little way. So he got him a ladder and he went down, and sure enough, there was a creek running in the bottom of that uh, cave, and it was good water. So he rigged up a pump, and we could just pump that water up into our bucket, and it was good water for drinking. And we had drinking water without having to walk so far because it was so far to get that, and we were so happy. But it is hard carrying buckets because you carry one on either side, and I never liked doing it. It was so hard. But I tell you what, you had to have it. But now for our wash water, we had mom had to do laundry and other things, so she would. We had rain barrels sitting at the corners of the house, and we would catch the rainwater and use it for laundry and doing other things. And we had an old cistern out front of the house because where Daddy built our house was a house site many years ago, and it had burned down. The old Ballsley place, I think they called it. So this cistern was a rock cistern, and it had water in it, and water came into it. But the thing of it is, you didn't know if there was dead animals in it or whatever, so we could not use that to drink ever. But Daddy rigged that up so that we could get water out of that to do laundry, which made it easier. But you don't get near it because if you fell in it, there was no way to get out. You don't fall in it. You be real. We was all real careful, but it was right in front of the house, almost not far away. But on those rain barrels, that was good water for washing, and you had to put a little oil on top of, and a little oil in that water, and then you wouldn't get mosquitoes because that they cannot live. I don't know how we got mosquitoes where we was on Slate Run Road. I didn't know how, but I know how now. James told me the other day. We had some help that came and picked up all the things that fall out of the trees, little branches and little stuff that you've got to clean up, and that's what happens when you've got trees. So they put this into plastic containers, garbage containers, and they didn't have any holes in the bottom. And so James discovered they were sitting in the front yard with a lot of water in them. He said, "Honey, that's where our mosquitoes was coming from, that we got so many." Well, since he discovered that and dumped them and got the trash out in the regular garbage can where it should go, not just in a small garbage can, it has been better. And I am so thankful because I've only seen one or two mosquitoes. I saw one in the house the other day, but I think I got it. Smack. Because I smacked my hand together right like that. Sometimes you can get them that way when they're flying around in front of you, and it was in the kitchen. And I went smack. So it didn't get in the bedroom. And I haven't been bit now again anymore, but I know what to do. Put an X on it with your fingernail. Somebody told me that, and I thanked her for it. I think it was Rachel, maybe. I don't remember for sure, but too many. But I sure appreciate it. And so I had that bad one on my foot that was hurting me so bad I had to get up and set up for about 15 minutes and put all kinds of stuff on it. And then the next one I put an X with my fingernail because I got it again, another bite, and probably the same mosquito. And do you know, it instantly quit hurting. And I was so thankful. So I'm done for this morning, and my Amazon show is over, and it was fun while it lasted. God bless y'all. Walk that path where Jesus would be pleased with you. I love you. Bye bye.